What's up, everyone? We're back with another episode, Night Vision Show, episode 8. We got Antonio with us, and Emma, introduce yourself and let everybody know about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emma Shepard, and I am a sophomore sports media major out of Nashville, Tennessee. And Connor reached out to me a little over a week ago to hop on the show, and so I'm really excited to be a part of Night Vision.
Let's go, guys. Today we're going to talk about college football and we're going to talk about NFL. So let's get straight into it. So number one, let's talk about teams that could surprise people in 2026. So like a team like last year, we saw Virginia. They went all the way to the ACC championship. I feel like nobody probably had that on their bingo card, or a team like Houston. Like I feel like there's a lot of teams in 2026 with the transfer portal that could do the same thing. Antonio, who do you think could be a surprise in 2026?
I guess I'm kind of rehashing a previous take I had whenever we were talking about like the season surprises. I said that Houston was going to make the playoffs, like get in the bracket for real. And I still stand on that. I still believe so. I feel like they'd be a surprise team. Like they had a good roster going into it, but they had a lot of good returners and transfers coming in. Trying to think of some off the top of my head. Amari Thomas, he's really good. He had 12 touchdowns, about 1,000 yards, give or take. That's a strong player to have on your roster. That's a good wide receiver room they got out there in general. Having a good line, really good quarterback coming in. Drawing blanks on names, but you got to trust me. You got to
Connor
trust me.
Wigman.
That Houston
Connor
team is
Wigman.
tough. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. That team's tough. They beat LSU right at the end of the year, too. That was a strong showing from them. Granted, it's not the LSU team that they got right now, but
Yeah.
maybe they'll run it back in the playoffs and show us that they can beat that team too. Make a little run real quick. That's what I think, at least. Got to
Yeah.
live
So the
up to
thing
their
about
college
Houston is,
basketball.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. I was just saying they got to live up to the men's basketball team. They be carrying Houston. Baseball team's pretty
Yeah.
good too. Softball is all right too. That football team, that's usually like the breadwinner, the most important one. They got to get up to that kind of standard, and I think they will.
Yeah. So the thing about Houston is they don't have a crazy hard schedule. Like when you look at like an SEC schedule or a Big Ten schedule, being in the Big 12. I mean, it's a lot of wild card teams, but you look at that schedule, it's like, okay, you got Oregon State, Southern. Then it's like, okay, you see at Texas Tech. That's a game where you say, okay, like if they can get something going or like upset Texas Tech in week 3, then you can sort of see where they can maybe make a push at the playoffs. Because the rest of the way, they don't have like a crazy schedule. They have Georgia Southern, UCF, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Utah, Cincinnati, Colorado, West Virginia, Baylor. Like I think they can win 10 games off that schedule,
Yeah,
especially
at
like
that point,
what they have coming back.
yeah. At that point, it really comes down to point differential. Like, how bad can you beat those teams if you're not beating like the top dogs in like the SEC or the Big Ten, stuff like that? And I feel like they
Yeah,
can. That's just me though. Emma,
yeah.
what you
And you,
feeling?
My own personal team or my thoughts on Houston?
A little bit of both, I guess. You feel like Houston could?
Yeah, if I've been reading the articles about who to look out for this season in college football, and Houston always makes the list, and I think that's really interesting. I also think it's funny about what you said about how basketball is carrying them, because that's so true. And we've got to get them up to that level, but I think they have a schedule. I think it looks pretty good, pretty decent for right now. So if they can win even like half of those, I would say this might be a hot take that they have a pretty good shot of, winning the AC. But
What
what do you
team you
have,
thinking
Emma?
of then? What's your surprise team? I'm curious.
my surprise team is Louisville. I went with the Cardinals, just because Jeff Brom has been with them for about 3 years now. And I just saw an article recently. It was quoted by him. He said, "I'm determined to get to the AC championship this year and then on to the college playoffs." And I think it'll be really interesting, especially bringing in a quarterback transfer from Ohio State, Lincoln Kineholtz, just to see what he can do there, since his potential was not seen at Ohio State. And we've really only seen him in his high school days of football, and you've already got your 3 4-stars, Trey Richardson, LaWayne McCoy, and Brody Foley in their packed, and your running back Isaac Brown. So I think that they have a pretty strong chance. I think that the most interesting thing is their opening game against Ole Miss, and then after that they have 3 home games right away. So I'm interested to see what the Cardinals will be able to do this season.
Yeah, Antonio, if you don't know about that, Isaac Brown, he has like on NCAA. After that first season in Dynasty, he almost gets like to a 99 speed. But like for real though, like I like that take on Louisville. But the key game for them will be Ole Miss out the gates. You know, Ole Miss is gonna be, motivated, especially if Trinidad Chambliss ends up getting that extra year that everybody thinks he will. But I definitely like what you say. I said Oklahoma State because Eric Morris, he brings a lot of his North Texas guys to Oklahoma State, and I think he brought 81 players with him. So they had to definitely mesh. But I mean, he brings guys like Drew Messermaker. He led the nation in passing with 4,379 yards, 34 touchdowns. Then Caleb Hawkins, the running back, he had 1,434 yards, 25 touchdowns, only as a true freshman. Now, Caleb Hawkins is going to be key because they run an air raid offense. So, air raid offense, they throw it around like 40, 50 times a game. So, when you have a back like that in the backfield who can rush for 1,500 yards, it makes it very hard to guard a team that likes to throw it around the air raid offense. Like when you have a quarterback like Drew Messermaker, you can't just load the box and focus on Hopkins in the backfield because he has like another receiver, Wyatt Young, 1,000-yard receiver from North Texas. He led the American in yards. He brought in Chris Barnes from Wake Forest. He had 600 yards as a true freshman. So like they're gonna spread it out. They're gonna play real fast. They're gonna play up tempo. So the safeties can't play too far back and focus on the passing game because Caleb Hawkins he can make some noise in the backfield.
Yeah, teams like that would have won too. That's really hard to beat, especially if you air it out like really far, like vertical, especially.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is too, they went 1-11 last year, so it's really only up. Like you can't get worse than 1-11.
You can get worse than 1-11. You can hit that
That
0-12
talent
if
they're
you really
bringing
got
in.
it.
With that
Man,
offense they're bringing in, it'll be hard. But they do play Oregon in week 2, so another game early that could test them. They play Houston and they play Texas Tech. So I mean, we're going to see games that can see what they're about. Now, I'm not saying they'll win a national championship or go to the playoffs, but I think they can get to that 7-8 win mark. What do you guys think?
man, that's viable. That's huge, especially after a 1-win season. You got to turn that around real quick. They'll definitely be playing with that kind of fire. Got to make it better than. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's really only up from here. And then you bring all of this in, especially the people that stuck around for it too. Could be like, oh yeah, nah, we're not trying to do that again. We got to run it back, and we got to get our revenge games against everybody. And then, especially with the schedule that they have to go against too, there's a lot of like you said, wild card teams in the Big 12. So I don't know. It's very, I wouldn't say volatile, but interesting. If I say volatile, it's more like you could really like throw like 4 or 5 teams into like a hat and pull from them and be like, oh yeah, that's the winner of the Big 12. And then maybe 4 other teams, you could be like, oh yeah, they could spoil the others' chances if they get a little win on them real quick. And I'd say Oklahoma State's one of those. I don't think they make the playoffs or anything, but
So we keep talking about like all these good games, like the schedules of everybody else's. Like, what games are you guys looking forward to the most in 2026? Emma, let's start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say my game that I picked is Texas versus Tennessee, as Texas has recently moved to the SEC. I'd love to get y'all's opinions on that later down the road on if Texas should have been a part of the SEC or not, because that's really controversial here, especially in the South. But I'm looking forward to it because it will be played at Neyland. And if y'all know, Neyland is loud. There's high pressure. The stakes are up, especially for Arch Manning. We saw him and his season last year that didn't go as he wanted it to. And I honestly think that this game could go either way. I think it could turn into a shootout if the game, picks up quick. And if the game is going slow, I think that Texas might have it. If you look online and you look at the articles and stuff, I think that it's very split on who is going to win. And I think that Tennessee's quarterback, he has that edge. He can get the ball down deep. He has those quick releases. And if he's able to do that against Texas, then I think that Tennessee has a really good shot of winning this game. And this is a really important game because this affects SEC standings and potentially even playoff positioning. So both of the teams, they're going to be in it. It might be close. It might not. So I'm excited to watch.
Yeah. So since you said Arch Manning, I guess I'll do mine next. So I like Texas versus Ohio State because I just feel like that game can just be pure cinema from the jump. I think they play week 1. So it's definitely an opportunity, to showcase what you got in week 1. You got the 2 best wide receivers in the country on one side, Cam Coleman for Texas, Jeremiah Smith for Ohio State. You got Julian Sand, a Heisman finalist last year, and Arch Manning with a chip on his shoulder. He played very well at the end of the season last year, so I know he wants to prove something. Last year when they went to Ohio State, it felt like at times he was seeing ghosts. It felt like he was really the defense was really confusing him. So I feel like this could be a revenge game for him or a time for Ohio State to just show how good the Big Ten really is. They've won the last 3 national championships. So, you go knock off another SEC team at their place. The talk will definitely heat up if Ohio State can win that game in week 1. How about you, Antonio?
Man, that's funny.
Or what do you
That's how
think
you know
about what I said?
About what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is going to be cinema, right? There's so many games this season that's going to be cinema. There's so many games where you just look at it on paper and it's like, oh, yeah, I got to tune in. I hope this is nationally broadcast, and if it's not, I'm going to find a way because I'm going to be watching that no matter what. And it's funny how many of those are in the SEC, too. That's how you know it's the best conference, but that's not here or there. I say that to say that mine is also in the SEC. It's LSU Ole Miss for obvious reasons. The storyline going into it is crazy. The whole Lane situation. We talked about a little bit in a few episodes back, but that alone, just for that alone, it's got me tapped in. But then the fact that it's going to be at Ole Miss, oh man, what? You're talking about the crowds? Man, they're gonna have that's gonna break some records. They're gonna have the highest attendance all time. They're gonna be killing LSU, at least from the fans' perspective. When they get the ball, I can only imagine what the pregame's gonna look like. Let me find out to do a college game day. What them signs gonna look like?
Right. Yeah,
man. Just off of that alone, but then you look at the rosters too. A bunch of guys from Ole Miss that stuck around, trying to get their lick back. And then all these transfers from LSU. LSU got one of the best classes in the college football. That's a strong team that's looking to redeem themselves, redeem the brand, because last year they didn't look too hot either. So it's 2 teams that are trying to prove something, and then one of them is very personal for them too. That's that peak cinema. That's why we watch football. That's why we I can't wait.
I think you definitely had the best one. I think that game, that whole week, you say let's say Monday, it's just gonna be straight trash talk on Twitter, TikTok. It's gonna be crazy edits. The NFL town on that field that week, Trinidad Cham was Keywan Lacey, all the guys for LSU. It's just so many NFL guys on the field that game. And they're gonna be taunting Lane Kiffin. They're gonna be calling them all types of names. They might be throwing food on the field. Don't let LSU go and win at Ole Miss.
Don't let LSU win that game.
Crazy game.
They could win by a field goal. They could win by 50. Don't let LSU win that game. And I say that as an LSU fan.
Who do you think has the most pressure in that game? Lane Kiffin, a guy who left Ole Miss, or does Ole Miss have to back it up with them at home and show you made the wrong choice? Who do you think has the most pressure? I could see either take.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you look at it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like LSU does inherently for being the away team, especially like with going in with all the stuff and then all this hype about their roster this year. You do all these theatrics to get the new coach in. Uh, when the governor's getting involved with these kind of situations, like even just on their whole season, and I've said this before too, even on their whole season, I feel like they have a lot of expectations, but I feel like everybody and their mama circling that game in particular, not even necessarily because it's their biggest threat, but more so because of what it mean if they lose, especially if they were playing in Tiger Stadium. But I feel like it's even more
Yeah.
so that they're playing over at Ole Miss. But I don't know. I guess it depends on how big of a chip on your shoulder that you think that Ole Miss got going into
Yeah.
it.
Because they could be like, like fired up, like you left us, you told us we weren't good enough, you couldn't win here. So like, but I get what you're saying too. But I think Ole Miss has, I would say more pressure because you're at home and you just had to back it up. But what do you think, Emma?
I would say I like both takes. I'm going to take the Ole Miss side. Just proving, especially to Lane, what all he's missing out on and him making the choice to leave after last season. So I would say they have a lot to prove, especially in this game. And I'm interested to see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a great decision that it was in Oxford, Mississippi, and not Baton Rouge because I mean the scene is going to be crazy. Okay, but let's move on though. So, did the college football portal save or ruin college football? Let's start with Emma.
I'm going to go with it ruined college football just because nowadays you don't see that continued continuity that comes with teams. You're getting new rosters every season, and especially looking at it from a fan perspective, you can't really connect with the players nowadays because they're leaving after one or two season. There's no long-term stars. It's kind of just turned into a free agency, and you're not seeing that 3 to 4 year development like you have been in the past. And it just, players playing the game to get paid and they're, going to go where the money's at. It just doesn't seem genuine anymore. And just growing up on college football and watching it with my dad and just having our favorite players and being able to watch them just this new generation coming up, I almost feel bad for them just because they have no idea what they're missing out on because all their players are leaving after one or two seasons to go other places.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying about the fan aspect of it. Like I remember growing up being an Auburn fan, like when Bo Nix was in high school, or like George Pickens from Alabama was in high school. Like I would like watch their whole recruitment, and I'd be like, oh, like he's gonna come to Auburn, like he's gonna come to Auburn. So now it's sort of like when you see these high school recruits, it's like, does it really matter if he's just gonna transfer after a year or two? Like Auburn had a talented quarterback in Deuce Knight last year, the 5-star quarterback. He transferred after his freshman year. So it's like, does it really like matter to get emotionally connected at this point? Because I would say like you have the cons. It's like you could say it's pay to play. You could say fans can grow an emotional bond, and like bowl games are sort of meaningless because players are like announcing their intent to get in the portal, and you see stuff like your roster can get crushed up. Like head coach gets fired, or you have a bad season. It's like bound to happen. But I will say this, like the pros of it you can say are stars can have redemption stories like a Joe Burrow going to LSU. Like we would have never seen that if he just stayed at the bench at Ohio State. You could say Bo Nix when he was at Auburn. He didn't have the type of success he wanted. He goes to Oregon, becomes a Heisman finalist. Malik Willis was on the bench at Auburn, goes to Liberty. Now he's starting quarterback for the Dolphins. So like you could see like some stories are like they're like worth it. Like Trinidad Chambliss, he was at D2. I never knew who he was until last year. So like you could sort of like see how you can see the pros and cons, but I think the cons outweigh the positive. How about you, Antonio?
Hmm. Now you kind of took the words out of my mouth, except I feel like that kind of outweighs the cons. I feel like I guess it just depends on how you look at it. Because if you look at it as a product, I feel like it's definitely more negative. Like Emma said, from the fan perspective. But there's so many players that like got to the league and like got paid and won, and they would have never if they stayed with their original schools and just like wrote it out, however, or maybe their coach got fired and they wouldn't have integrated in the system well and would have just like fell behind the times, you know. Jalen Hurts is another good example. He got benched for Tua and then went to Oklahoma, and then look at him now, Super Bowl champion. Granted, he probably would have been drafted anyways, but like he wouldn't have had that season in Oklahoma to be like, oh yeah, like I'm still that guy. Like I got benched for Tua, but like I'm still good, you know.
Playoffs. Yeah.
We had the greatest quarterback season of all time come from a transfer in his first year to school, Joe Burrow at LSU. I'm trying to think of some other players that you ain't mentioned, but I
Cam
mean,
Newton.
Yeah, there you go. Come on now.
That wasn't really like a transfer portal era, but that's a guy that transferred that was in he was behind Tim Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you just really never know like what a guy can do in another situation, and he wins the national championship. So
Right.
I mean, it's really I can definitely see how it could be a pro, but there's some things that could be adjusted to make it a little better. So it's not free agency every year or pay to play.
I wouldn't disagree there.
Mm-hmm.
There definitely needs to be like some sort of balance, because when we have so many people that enter the portal too, it's so hard to, like, if nothing else, filter through like as like a school to be like, oh, okay, we have like, this is just a number I'm throwing out here, 5,000 players that want to come to our school and like express interest and are available in the portal, and now we got to bring that down. Like you said, from the fan perspective, I mean, it's really kind of hard to like fall in love with the players, knowing that if they have a good season, and let's say for like McNeese, just because of like me and Connor go there, right? So let's say McNeese player, quarterback, has like a great season. Already in the McNeese fans' minds, they're like, okay, they're definitely transferring to at the least an FBS school, getting out of the FCS. And we're probably going to not have a similar player come in unless there's somebody behind him that's like a stud. Yeah. But I don't know, because it's the current era, because it's existed beforehand. But the current era,
you have to sit out of here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a better word. The liberalness, in the sense of like the freedom, the ease of access to like get it done, how easy it is, and then the literal consequences in return. I guess there definitely needs to be something there. If nothing else, whenever you're recruiting these people coming in, have somewhere like in some sort of contract of some sort, if not like integrated in the NIL thing or whatever, like just some sort of commitment just from the players to the schools that needs to be like included somewhere. I don't know where, I don't know how. I'm not here to fix that, but I understand the
thought.
Yeah, the thought process behind like it being a more negative thing. But I feel like with most things, and you can extend that to NIL too, but that's a different topic, kind of. As long as there's some sort of like system that makes it easier and like more streamlined and more fair, I feel like it's always going to be a positive. But right now, I could agree with y'all. Yeah, I guess I could say it's a ruining thing, at the least if they don't do anything about it.
Yeah, you definitely have to feel for the G5 teams too. Like, look at North Texas. They have a crazy season. Their head coach is going to get poached. He goes to Oklahoma State. They lose like 20 players, their best players. All their stars are going to go to Oklahoma State. Or you look at a team like Tulane or South Florida, their head coach and their team have a good season, they're gone. Because you already know if you have a good season at the G5, somebody's going to be calling your head coach and somebody's going to be calling your players, if not that. So, I mean, it's just a tough situation if you're a fan of a G5 team because everybody's looking at what your players are doing. You have anything else on it, Emma?
I have a follow-up question to that. As you're looking at, these players specifically, I think back to, I don't know how familiar y'all are with Jared Curtis, but when he was committed
Yes.
to Georgia, then he uncommitted, then he committed back, and then he eventually committed to Vanderbilt. What are y'all's thoughts on, even before, you get into college and you're committing and then you're uncommitting? What are y'all's takes on that?
I don't really have like a dislike or like. I feel like the high school, like they're young, they're kids. They're gonna play games. Like I know it was a long time he was committed to Georgia. He played a lot of games with Georgia. I think at one time he was thinking about going to Oregon. But I mean, it's just like it's an example. Like Jared Curtis sees like Diego Pavia leaving. Like you can't blame him for wanting to try and compete for the starting quarterback as a freshman. Knowing you go to Georgia, you're gonna have to wait maybe a year, 2 years, three at the max if Georgia wants to go to the portal after Gunnar Stockton leaves. So you can definitely see. Isn't he from Nashville as well?
Hmm?
Yeah, so you can definitely see why a guy like that would want to stay home and try and play early rather than go to a blue blood like Georgia.
Yeah, I feel you. Especially because you're a high schooler, right? I feel
Yeah,
like committing, like, so it depends on when you commit to. I feel like really you could fix all of this just by like not like as a school being like, okay, at this like certain date, this is when it's like, well, I guess it kind of already exists, huh? I was about to say that's a signing day. I was about to describe a signing day, but it's
yeah,
already, damn, that's funny.
it's a
But I
society thing.
mean, I guess change the verbiage because yeah, commit is like a very like solid like term. You hear the word commit,
Yeah,
it's like you're, for lack of a better term, committed. Like that's like you're signed up for this, like you're going to do this type thing. But at like 16, 17 years old, and even earlier for some, it's like that's a big decision to make, and a lot of things can change in between then. So I don't know. I feel like it don't really matter for me. I wouldn't say I'm like a fan of someone doing that per se, especially as like a supporter of LSU. That happens like so many times. There's so many kids
yeah.
that'll be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to LSU," and then yeah, because that happened earlier too. I'm trying to think of his name. Do y'all know who I'm talking about? He committed to LSU and then decommitted. I guess
How
there's so
long
many
ago?
people.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
so
really pick
many.
it out. If I would find it, I'll send it to y'all after this. But there was somebody that committed to LSU and then he decommitted, and everyone was like mad, and I was like, "There's some kid. Like, why are we even on his top like that? Like, let
Yeah,
him figure out where he wants to play. Worst case scenario, we in the transfer portal era. He'll probably just come back if there's an opening."
yeah, true. Let's pivot to NFL. NFL free agency was a couple weeks ago. It started a couple weeks ago and is heating up to draft time. But who is your guys' favorite free agent signing? I'll start with this one. I say Mike Evans because I just feel like him and a Kyle Shanahan offense with a guy like Christian McCaffrey. I know George Kittle's going to be coming off an injury, but just to give Brock Purdy another weapon. I mean, like Mike Evans and a Kyle Shanahan offense, I feel like can just make his prime extend another 2 years to 3 years, maybe, if that's not crazy. But I think he still has a lot left in the tank. And he'll be more valuable in that system than he would compared in Tampa.
That's fair. How much do you think he's gonna help out? Like,
I think he's gonna be. I think he's.
what kind of hump are they getting over?
What kind of hump are they getting over? Now, I don't think they're gonna be a Super Bowl team. I think it depends if they keep Jawan Jennings because they get Jawan Jennings, Mike Evans, and a healthy George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. I mean, the ceiling is limitless. I tell you what they can do after draft time. See like what they do in the draft, what they add, if they make any more trades. But I think right now I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender.
Hmm.
How about you, Emma?
My pick.
Yeah, who's your pick?
All right. I went with Kenneth Walker, our Super Bowl MVP, switching to the Chiefs, which when I first read that, I was super surprised. But also, I can totally understand where they're coming from because if you've seen these past few years, the Chiefs are very pass heavy. So allowing them to have a running back just adds to that, pressure on their end of how bad do they want to be in the playoffs this year. Because we see for the first time, I believe it was, correct me if I'm wrong, was it 10 years maybe they hadn't been in the playoffs this past year? Maybe a little less, a little more. But we
Give or
see
take,
that
yeah.
It was?
give or take.
Yeah, 10 years. So we see them getting this running back, getting this MVP, and I think it gives them something that they've lacked a lot in recent years. Now it brings up the question, does this lead them to the playoffs just based off Walker? Or are we looking at, a year like this past year where they're just okay, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people were concerned about did the Kansas City Chiefs sort of overpay for Kenneth Walker because a running back is like you get nicked up a little bit, your career can be like on the downslide. But I think Kenneth Walker's a great back. I think he's very patient. I think he has another dynamic to that offense. But I just feel like the O line has to be a priority in draft time to keep Patrick Mahomes upright and to give Kenneth Walker and show why he's worth that price tag because he's going to get hit a lot if that O line's not blocking for him. How about you, Antonio?
I'm low key gonna cheat. I have like 2.5 answers, but hear me out.
Okay.
Well, 3.5, but hear me out. The Texans, they've signed 3 different linemen that I'm kind of excited for. Braden Smith, they got him for 2 years, 25.
Auburn guy.
He was from the Colts. He was their starter for like 8 seasons. Wyatt Teller, they got him for 2 years, 16. He's made some Pro Bowls in the past, some second All Pros. It's been like a few years, I guess, since he's made one, but I still think it's a good signing. I'm trying to think of the other one. Evan Brown. Yeah, Evan Brown. He was a starter for Arizona, I believe. And I feel like that's what they needed. I think that was their number one issue. Any offensive line additions, I think were good for them. The fact that they got 3 that I'm pretty strong about, 2 of them like guards, I'm a fan of. And then the other one, it's continuing with the like guards and tackles. Whoever signs Trent Williams, I feel like that's going to be huge. If the Niners get him back, I think that'd be good for them as well, especially with Mike Evans coming. But if he for some reason leaves, I mean, hey, if Houston wants to sign him too, that'd be nice. But literally any team would kill to have him. He'd be a great addition to their offense. It would immediately improve their offense, immediately give their quarterback that much more time to do anything. Hopefully it's Houston. That'd be nice. But that's just me being biased.
Yeah. We talk about offensive line play and what you have to have in an offensive line. Do you guys think like Jeremiah Love, the type of hype he's getting, some people say he can be a top 5 pick. At the least, you might see top 10, but a lot of people are like, they love Jeremiah Love's ability. Do you guys think it's worth taking a running back that high in the draft? There's always criticism. You shouldn't take a running back until the second round, maybe third round. What do you guys think about that? Let's start with Emma.
The thing with running backs is I definitely think my take is that it's always risky, especially that high, considering your quarterback options looking at this year. But I'm thinking of teams that might need that running back that man, I'm trying to think of the draft order now. I'm blanking on even just the first like 10 teams. Um,
I got it for you.
yeah, can you pull it up?
I'll
A
give you
lot
an
of people
example.
have him
Oh, you
mocked to the
got it wrong.
a lot of people have him mocked at the Titans at 4. I really don't want him to go there. I know you are you a Titans fan, Emma?
Yeah.
I don't want him to go to the Titans. I just feel like that's like setting them up to fail. Like I just feel like it could set him up bad. A team I would be interested in him going to maybe could be like a New Orleans or Kansas City's probably out the running now. But like I know Antonio like this. Like if he goes to New Orleans, I think that could be a great fit for him. A spot that he can tear it up. But I don't think he's going to be around for New Orleans pick at number 8. So number 1 is the Raiders. Number 2 is New York. Number 3 is Arizona. 4 Tennessee. 5 New York Giants. 6 is the Browns. 7 is the Commanders. 8 is the Saints. 9 Chiefs. 10 Bengals. So it's looking like he's probably going to end up at Tennessee, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the order that the Chiefs were in, but if they're at 9, then I was going to say I think it would be interesting taking him considering that they already signed Walker.
Yeah. I mean, they could probably still do it, but that would be a lot of cap space taken up by just running backs because the first round pick is going to command a lot of money, especially a top 5 pick, top 10 pick. So we'll see. How about you, Antonio?
Yeah, I guess it really just depends on who gets them. Because I feel like with running backs, right, just in general, just the position, it's very high demand, high physical, high turnover rate, as in like getting new ones because you usually get hurt easier, as many hits as you take during the game. Especially just on like those little 3 yard gains, you're gonna get hit by like 3 guys, trying to bring you down. You know what I mean? That adds up. A running back's shelf life isn't really as long as the other positions, but it's still a valuable like skill position. That's why we see like the running backs in the past can pick pretty high. I think even if you look at it like that, give it the worst case scenario that he plays till he's like 30 and retires. I feel like as a talent, that would still be worth it, and depending on where you go, the window would like be open enough.
Yeah.
I guess it boils down to what teams running backs room look like whenever they do get him. If he's going to be like your RB1 and you're going to spam him the whole game, I feel like that's bad. But
Yeah.
if he goes to like in New Orleans and he's with Kamara, or if he goes even to the Commanders, with just having like Jalen Daniels, yeah, like I don't know. It really just depends on where he goes. Top 5. I'm trying to think of the RB rooms in the top 5.
I know the
Definitely not
Browns
New
have
York.
Quinshon Junkins.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cleveland probably like the best of them.
I will say when a running back is going very high though, like you look at Jameer Gibbs, boom, like just hit the ground running. But like you said, they have Amon St. Brown, they have Jameson Williams, they have Jared Goff, and they have a great tight end in Laporta. So they have a lot of good pieces around them, and they had David Montgomery, a 1-2 punch. So it's like you look at Bijan Robinson, another guy, just hit the ground running. So when you take a first round guy, it's a gamble, but you're really gambling on your future. Like, look at a guy like Ashton Genty last year. Like, I don't know if the Raiders really they might regret that pick already. You look at a guy like a Sony Michel who went in the first round, Trent Richardson. It's just a lot of guys like a Darren McFadden number 4 that you didn't really get the value out of them that you would have wanted because they got so nicked up and they carried the ball a lot in college.
Yeah. It's really gonna boil down to which one of them. Yeah, it's got a good team around him, especially in O-line. Yeah. Like you said at the start of this, having a bad O-line that doesn't give you your holes and you got to force through, and then you're getting destroyed every 3 yards. Like that's gonna add up. The shelf life, I feel like it's getting lower and lower for everyone in the league, nonetheless running backs, just because of like the sport getting more advanced and the players getting better and more freakish, and some of these stadiums don't got the greatest conditions. Like if he goes to like the Giants or the Jets, that's notoriously like an Achilles killer, an ACL killer. So it's like, I don't know, it just depends. I guess that's a non-answer, but
So, Emma, we were talking about how you were a Titans fan. You were telling us how you like their rebranding. Tell us more about what you were thinking about it.
I understand completely why they did it, considering that we are getting a new stadium next year. And we have Cam Ward. We've signed a lot of great players during this off season. I think it seemed like the logo and the design, I don't know how familiar y'all are with it. It seemed a little rushed, and I feel like we could have taken our time with that. I was talking to one of my friends, and we said we compared it to like Ole Miss jerseys, just because we're going with that light blue now instead of the navy, which all of us in Nashville were so used to, and they did away with the flames. That's my biggest complaint about the rebrand was the Titan flames just add so much character, especially to our mascot and what we're known for. But do I think that a rebrand was needed? Absolutely. I'm excited for the Titans' future, and I think the pressure is really adding on to them, considering that we are getting a new stadium and our city's pouring in over $1 billion for it. So I don't know. What are y'all's opinions on the new logo and everything?
I like the baby blue jerseys. Do they still have the dark blue one?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No,
See,
no, nothing.
that was like the traditional, like that's the traditional one. So I was like, because I didn't see it, so I'm like, maybe it's just not on here. But I was like, I was surprised not to see that one. Like I remember seeing Derrick Henry go 99 yards, stiff arm the dude. I'm pretty sure he had that dark jersey on. So I just feel like that one was sort of like iconic, but I guess it's whatever. How about you, Antonio?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I associated the Titans less with like the Oiler adjacent like imagery, color scheme. Just because I don't know, something about that dark blue, something about that red. I really liked it, and I liked like the light blue being like an accent. Now
Yeah.
that it's more of like a prominent thing, I'm not opposed to it. I like it, of course. Uh, but I don't know. It's kind of a trend that a lot of teams have been doing, simplifying the logos a little bit. That's probably the biggest complaint I got with it, me personally. Uh, it's kind of just like a trend in this country in a general sense, like any sort of branding, like a branding trend. Like I literally like I've took classes that has explained about these kind of things because I'm a mass comm major, had some marketing classes, stuff like that. Uh, I mean, it's a little bit of a cultural appreciation of Houston, but I mean, it's still good. I still rock with it. Nothing wrong with it. Uh, Got to look good for that new stadium, though. I wonder how it's gonna like affect that. Like the vibes, the colors. 'Cause I've seen like the concepts for the stadium. That's huge. That's a lot of money that they put into it too. So you got to look nice in your nice little stadium, nice little roster. Got your franchise quarterback. Maybe they'll go draft Jeremiyah Love too. 1-2. Get their money up, get the revenue coming in. Got to pay for the stadium somehow.
So who do you guys think could like use like an upgrade with their jerseys, like their logo? We can go college and NFL here. Like, who do you guys think could definitely use like a rebrand, like bad? You guys want me to start with this one?
Yeah, I haven't thought that far actually. I'm not gonna lie. I was sitting here going
Yeah.
through.
So like, I say 100%. I say Auburn. Like, I don't know if you guys watch Auburn, but like, we have one jersey combo. It feels like we go on the road. We have like an all white. Then we have a blue jersey, white pants, white helmet. So like I know Antonio knows this. If you go on NCAA, you looking to change like the helmets, the pants. On NCAA, you can't change Auburn pants. You only have one white pant. You can't change the helmet. You only have one helmet. So it's just the same white helmet. You might can change the face mask out to orange. But I mean, you have the same white helmet, same white pants. I mean, a lot of college football teams are like traditions. So like Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, Michigan, some other schools, like a lot of schools, they like their tradition uniforms and they don't try to like do too much. But I just feel like you could just do some orange pants or like some blue pants
Right.
or like just add something new or like maybe like an orange helmet. I'm not saying you got to go crazy and do like orange jerseys, even though the basketball team has orange jerseys. I just think like something like fresh.
And that's the crazy thing about it. Like usually these schools that are so traditionalist in their football programs have like amazing baseball, softball, basketball program jersey
Yeah.
combos. It just don't make no sense to me. Because like why are we doing all this and it looks so cool, but then we go to football and we're wearing the same two combos every week.
Yeah, it's like, why are we trying to be so tradition?
It's like sure, it's old. I was about to say America's pastime. That's baseball. But I mean, it's the new America's pastime, really. And I know football fans like their tradition. They're pretty like conservative by nature. They like things how it is. So it's like, sure, I guess, but yeah, I feel you. Me personally, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit, I think this is kind of the perfect example. I think the Cowboys need it. I think they
They're
don't got enough
definitely
going on.
changing.
They haven't changed theirs in so long, and like it is good, so it stays and it works. But you're telling me all we got is like that dark blue alternate and then the whites that they wear everywhere. It seems like home and away. Like we can't do something else. I know we're only working with like the blue and the white and the silver, but even like some all silver jerseys would be fire. Like literally anything. Upgrade the star. You could argue the same for a team like the Packers, like any of these like legacy teams that haven't really had anything going on. We're in 2026. I like how it looks, but like let's do a little something. Give me like a yellow Packers jersey, all yellow, like monochrome. Give me
I wonder did they do that for Color Rush a couple of years ago?
yeah, because like the stuff like the color rush, I feel like it helped those teams that only got so much going on. Like we got to keep like at least like one new combo for some like these old teams like Dallas, Green Bay. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Even you can say the Saints too. They got them gold jerseys now though that I like. I hope those stick around. But even like a whole rebrand on it, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Nice little alternate. How about you, Emma? Who do you think use a rebrand?
I wouldn't know if I would necessarily call it a rebrand, but I would like to see the Dolphins bring back their throwback jerseys and helmets because I've always been a big fan of those. I think I would also have to go with the Commanders because there's nothing there. It's just kind of boring, doesn't really catch your eye or anything. And I mean, like, you are in the nation's capital, so I feel like there's so much more that you could do with that. Maybe get new colors or something. I don't know. I found it interesting how, the Capitals colors are red, white, and blue. So if they would ever do like a red, white, and blue special for the Commanders, but
I didn't even think about them. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I was gonna say that sounds like a good idea. Red, white, and blue. Because the Wizards are red, white, and blue. So
see, but I think the Wizards should change to like how they used to be back in the day, where you know how they got the gold city jerseys right now.
yeah,
I wish they would stick around those, and maybe the
Those
red,
are
white, and
hard.
blue is like a throwback. But those are so hard. I wish they would keep that.
Yeah, the gold is hard. I'm thinking
Don't
about
get me
NBA.
don't get me started on these other teams, MLB and NBA. I could just name teams off the top of my head and be like, oh yeah, like the Cardinals. Better yet, Arizona Cardinals. Keep it in the NFL. I think
I
they should
always like
lean into like. I think they just had one too, and it kind of was like, but I feel like they should lean into the sandy jersey and like that kind of colors, like the red with the sand and the Arizona flag. I really like how it looks. You could do like a Arizona flag jersey. If you really want to keep like the red monochrome and the white monochrome, sure, but there's so much more. There's so many teams that could do so much more.
teams that have the colors red have so many choices because you can do red, black, white, gray, silver. It's just so many things you can do with red. You can do a black jersey, a gray jersey, red with silver writing. You can do chrome helmets. It's just so many things you can do with red. So a lot of teams fumble when they have that jersey. I know the Rockets, they have a lot of good jerseys. Houston football has a lot of good jerseys. Like the color red is an easy thing to work with.
Shout out Red, man. Titans need to bring it back. I actually really miss that flame. I thought that was the coolest thing about it back in the day. I'd pick them on like Madden just because I'd be like, man, them jerseys tough. That logo tough. I like the stadium too. I'm kind of sad that they get a new one. But I mean, it's state of the art. Gotta get that good fan experience or whatever. I don't know what the state of the stadium was. I don't know if it really needed it or not. Because like some of these teams, but I mean, Emma, you been to any games? Like, what's your opinion on the stadium?
I go to a lot of Titans games during the season. Oh, I'm wearing.
Oh, there you go. Come on now.
Yeah, this is the old logo. But I would say another reason why I understand why Nashville did it because it's growing so fast and they also want to be able to host a Super Bowl. And so allowing that with the new stadium, a Super Bowl in Nashville would be so cool. Maybe get like a country music halftime show. I don't know. But yeah, it's the stadium, Nissan, it's okay. It's not my favorite stadium that I've ever been to, but I think that there was something special about, growing up, going to Nissan Stadium, that it's going to be sad when that goes away, but I am definitely excited for the new one and it being indoor and everything. So yeah.
Nashville Super Bowl, that could be crazy. Like I can see in my head now like Broadway. Oh my, like that would be crazy. And I know like Auburn plays Vanderbilt for their permanent SEC opponent every year now. Whenever Auburn goes to Vanderbilt, Auburn brings so many fans because everybody's always trying to go to Nashville and see the scenery and Broadway and stuff like that and go shopping. So and the nightlife too. So that could be another that could be definitely be a good option for a Super
And
Bowl.
the Cowboy like the vibe, the like with the branding. You can get the country halftime show. As long as they picking real country artists now. I ain't trying to hear any of these new ones. I'm trying to get like some old country at least.
Yeah.
Even like some shoot. Where's Dolly Parton at? Where's George Strait at when we need him? You know what I mean? I ain't trying to hear none of this new stuff.
Well, and and when we're on the topic of stadiums and everything, I think that Vanderbilt, if anyone in Nashville needs an upgrade, it's Vanderbilt Stadium. So
Tell me about it.
I mean, didn't they put like the whole half of not this season, but the season before, like with half of a stadium? Like they had like I'm not trying to disrespect any Vanderbilt fans on here, but I remember like we would play Vanderbilt. It's like they're doing half of the construction on one side. And I'm like, what are they doing? Because Georgia or Alabama wanted that stadium done, they would get that done in the off season. It'll be done in like 3 months.
They expediting it too. They said we gotta go. This is the most important thing in the city. We gotta get this done.
Thank you guys so much for making it this far. Emma and Antonio, how can everybody check out you guys? You can go first.
You can check me out on Tonyo Talk, youtube.com/@TonyoTalk, TONYO. I've been cooking something up every week. I haven't been cooking something up every week. I swear this time though, I'm not lying. Y'all gonna see, I promise. But Emma, where are we gonna see you at?
Yeah, you can check me out at the Emma Shepherd Show on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Those links will be
tell them about your live broadcast. What?
Yeah, so I am doing a live broadcast in May. Kind of want it to be like talk show vibes with an audience. And the proceeds from the tickets go towards a mission field that my mom is heavily involved in. So it's really special.
Nice.
You guys check out Antonio and Emma. And thank you guys. And we'll see you guys next week. We're out.